Hello, I am Two Black Boots, happy to share a color wheel character challenge with you. We're kicking it off with green. Sometimes my favorite color, sometimes not. I change my mind about my favorite color on a different day, depending on how I feel that day. Anyway, the music cue might have given it away, but we are going to be drawing Kermit the Frog. This is just real quick from memory. I'm like, what shapes is he made out of? Like squares, triangles, circles. Okay, I know what I'm doing, more or less. Let's get rid of that and get into something a little bit more detailed and maybe something with a reference, you know? Just on Pinterest, there's tons of pictures. I found one of him with his banjo, and I'm like, okay, let's actually look at the shapes. The mouth is kind of round, actually. Like the head is triangles in a round shape. And then the body, kind of, an oval. Arms are cylinders, hands are rectangles. It's not terribly complicated. And so this is very rough just to try to get the proportions. Be like, okay, well, how big is the head compared to the body? You know? What about the eyes? What are they doing? They're just kind of like ping pong balls. I think they might actually be ping pong balls, like slightly cut in half. And of course, it's not Kermit without his little gesture neck piece thing that he's got. Makes you think of the Ungrateful Dead. They have that kind of Kermit the Frog neck piece. I think I was right to call it like a jester's collar. I was just moving the eye a little bit closer. Compared to the reference photo, it was a little bit farther apart. Kermit's a little bit different because some of these other characters I'm going to be adapting on the challenge, they're two-dimensional. And Kermit is a puppet that lives in three-dimensional space right alongside us. So, that's just something I have to keep in mind. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to the shading. Right now I'm just kind of throwing shapes on each other and being like, okay, yeah, banjo, circle, rectangle, bam. I didn't want to draw him with the rectangle, with the banjo, because yes, it is very iconic and classic in him, but it's not that original. Not that what I ended up doing was very original, but it's also more detailed than I maybe want. See, these people do the character color wheel challenge, and they've got the characters exploding outside of their color thing, and that's a style. It can look really cool, and it often does. In the examples, you'll see if you just look up the color challenge, the color character wheel challenge. I can say it. But I wanted to kind of keep it contained inside. So this was never going to be the final pose. This was just a space to test, proportions and test colors. I'm like, does he have eyelids? No, he does not. That's what that test was. And I'm like, okay, I'm not unhappy with this, but it's not going to be the winner. I think I got the colors decently close in my head. I wasn't really color picking. I was just kind of moving my dials around. So I shrunk it down. It's a little thumbnail to reference for the next drawing, which we're going to jump into now. We got Kermit. Just a close-up of his face, and I kind of got that his eyes are not X's or crosses, they're just dots with lines through them. He's a frog. Should I try to mess with the art style and make him a 2D sort of thing and give him nostrils and features that a frog would have? I decided no, it looked bad. Sticking to the puppet thing. On the puppet thing, what's actually going on? When you're trying to understand a character, you sometimes break it down to the skeleton. Well, Kermit's a puppet, so he doesn't have a skeleton, but he does have a puppeteer. And so what's going on inside is that
this is felt built around the shape of someone's arm into the character. And so those are the shapes that the physics of it are restricted to. Again, I'm like, what is, like, is it a halfway ping pong ball? How am I drawing that at an angle? I just kind of went for it, and I liked it. I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. And again, I think I got a little bit closer with the proportions, like head size compared to body size. I could see where it was going. I could see the vision, Jim Henson's vision. I don't know. And I'm messing around with the hands. I wanted to do something a little bit expressive, like maybe curve some of the hands. But the way it's built is that all the fingers are sewn together. So that's not really possible without making it kind of janky. But I learned what I wanted from that exercise. I'm like, yes, this shape, this shape, this shape. And then I was like, oh, those shapes look like a dinosaur. And I quickly erased that, but it still makes me smile a little bit. Another attempt at a hand, and the puppeteer stick, because that is how they moved his hand. It is connected to something, and the puppeteer has, one hand up in the head and one hand holding the stick. If they want the other arm to also be mobile, then they have a second puppeteer hold the other stick. And again, I'm like, what is going on with these eyes? And I want them to be able to, like, have expressions too. I eventually just settle on, he's a puppet. He can't express too much. And that's just going to be how it is. It's not like a comic book interpretation of the character. I'm doing, yes, a drawing interpretation of the character, but I'm keeping it to the physics of the actual puppet's rig. Here I'm struggling with the eyeball. I'm like, it's round, but it's not round enough. And I get there eventually. I was also temporarily in like a vector layer because I'm like, I'm gonna do YouTube channel and it's gonna be so cool and I'm gonna digital art it and be good at digital art. I can't just like expect myself to know how to use a vector layer by turning it on though. So here I'm kind of struggling, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? No! And struggling to erase just what's inside the eye, and I tried to simplify it, and eventually I'm like, nope, I gotta use the tools that I know how to use. And so I go back to just a normal layer. I think around here is where I'm messing with the settings. I'm like, nope, merge it all together and make it normal. And then I'll just erase it and do what I can. I think I would like to learn how to mess with vector layers. I think it is possible that it could be a really helpful tool. It's not currently one in my arsenal though. And I'll have to deal with that. So why did I pick Kermit the Frog? Well, other than the fact that he is green, and that choice is not easy. Not easy being green. Anyway, why did I pick Kermit the Frog? Well, I'll tell you. He's a charismatic frog, and he, amplifies whimsy and charm, and also is stressed out, and I relate to all of those qualities of this frog. So he's like, one finger is made and then the other fingers are all sewn together. That's what I was kind of noticing from the photos I was looking at. Anyway. Yeah, I like the colors I pick here, but they're actually a little bit too saturated. I'll mess around with it a little bit more later. So I was not from the 70s. So I didn't see the Muppet Show live. But we had a VHS tape. I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. I'm not from the 70s. Of like the Muppets sing-along video. And on it was, a number of fun numbers. Kokomo was a pretty fun rendition by the Muppets. But the one that Kermit was in more prominently, he is in the Kokomo one, but his famous song, It's Not Easy Being Green. Here I'm trying to do some shadow stuff. I had that one spray bottle brush, and I was like, oh, I'll make him look like he's made out of felt. And I'm struggling with... I didn't really pick a light source, and so that's why I'm struggling with the shadows here. Here I'm trying to pick a light source, and I am on a different layer, but I'm doing the shadows and highlights on the same layer. A mistake. One I hope to learn from in the future. Anyway, Kermit sings It's Not Easy Being Green, and I found that so charming and relatable. I don't know, because it's like green for envy, right? And he starts off kind of in that emotional state, like a little discontent with his lot. And talking about how, oh, well, I'm green, but there's so many other beautiful things to be, like red or gold, or I'm not flashy like sparkles in the sky or the water. But you know what? And he has a turning point in the song. He's like, green is kind of wonderful too. Green is spring. Green is friendly. Green is mountains. And it's pretty wonderful, actually. And I'm maybe happy being who I am. And so he has this, in this short, like 2-minute song, he has this arc of self-acceptance. Even though he does it in such a humble way, too, that's very charming and modest and made me really love the character. So I love Kermit the Frog. That's a memory I have of him. And yeah. Here I'm actually thinking, you know what? Instead of just drawing Kermit the Frog 100 times, how about I figure out how I actually want him to fit in this circle? You know? The plan? Maybe have one. And I'm like, okay, I could just do like a silhouette. But that doesn't really catch him all the way. He's a frog. He's got big, long frog legs. So I exaggerated that a little bit. And I have a full body shot. I didn't like how it was positioned. I flipped it around. I'm like, okay, it can fit inside of the green slice. But if I'm doing a full body shot, I can't get as much detail and expression in the face, maybe. So I throw it up there with my other thumbnails, and it's an option. And I think about it, but I think I'm a little bit more satisfied with just like the bust shot, kind of. And I was like, oh, do I want him to have like a thumbs up? And I'm like, no, I don't think I do. I think his job is to be recognizable as the character he is, and that's something that I don't need to overcomplicate. He's made out of simple shapes. I should try to keep it a little bit more simple. And so this wasn't gonna be the final thing, but it does end up being. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna use line art this time. I'm so great. And then I kind of still use line art, but I did make an attempt to try it without. His gesture collar is a little bit more sharp, a little pointier than what I had just a second ago. And I'm looking at him, and he's got kind of like a neck. I can't skip the neck, and it's got kind of folds and wrinkles because he's felt, and there's movement. That's the main kind of bending point in his structure. So I add in some wrinkles that I think really help sell that neck. Also, I finally try to look at the color green that I'm actually using. I'm like, it's not quite Kermit green. It's a nice green and I like it, but I think this more Kermit green that I put down is better. And then I'm like, okay, I'll use the one that I was using for highlights, and I'll take a darker one for shadows, and then I'll try to just blend it all out. You know, light source from the left if you're looking down at the art,
I guess for Kermit, it would be from the right, but yeah. And then I'm like, I can kind of see it. I gotta just trust the process, just blend it out some more. Redraw his neck thing, because that got completely lost in the jumble. And then I do come in with my line art to be like, what? Let's make what I'm looking at a little bit more clear. Yeah, then one of them was the wrong size, so I had to erase it. I tried to keep it consistent to its other color, being lighter than the rest of the puppet. And I'm getting somewhere with this. I'm like, okay, trust the process. It's coming along. These eyes have to go. These eyes are toast. Redraw those. And I think the speed paint cuts off a little bit. Basically what I do is I finish the eyes and then I'm like, the head's a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and just chop it down. And also I just erase what's outside of the line art. And that's my Kermit the Frog. Thank you guys for watching the video. I had fun making it. I am still thinking about how I want to do the rest of the circle. Like, do I want to do 2 circles? One of male characters, one of female characters? There he is! Yay! Kermit the Frog. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. That was my attempt at his voice. I can kind of do it. I can do it a little bit better if I tried and practiced, but I'm not going to. Anyway, that's my Kermit. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah. Let me know who you would love to see drawn next. I am open to suggestions, but I am not bounding myself to taking them. Thank you for your time, and I hope you had some fun watching me draw. I had some fun drawing for you.